Okay, here we are back with part 2 of beading a brick stitch fringe earring. In the first video, we made the top part of the earring, which is the actual brick stitch. And now we're just making the fringe, which is pretty simple. So when we started the earring, we set aside kind of half of the thread when we made the ladder stitch, and this is the thread that we use for the fringe. So it's pretty long. I like to work with as long a length of thread as possible, so that way you don't have to add more, if at all, if you can avoid it. And sorry for the squeaky chair. It's an old one. It's an old office chair from the 70s that was rescued from a dumpster that I've had since I was in middle school. So it can be loud sometimes, and I don't usually, I don't register it, but now that I'm filming, I definitely hear it. So I just have a basic pattern here for my fringe, and so that just tells me, it's just all the increases. You don't really need to write it down, but each one I just increase by 2 on each count. So and I have 3 colors here. Like I said before, they're the green, rose, and greasy yellow, opal. And I'm also using, hard to see, these are called pips. They're small glass drops. And they're in a pink Picasso finish. And I get these from Shipwreck beads. So I think, well, actually only one of these beads came from Shipwreck. The other 2, I believe, came from Talisman Beads in Eureka, California, which is a great shop. But so I just do one of the starting color, and then I do alternating between the 2 for 6 beads, and then I increase by 2 for the secondary. So that's 3, and then I do 6, 6, and then 5, so I slide these all the way down. Hopefully you can kind of see that there. And then I pick up 2 and one of my pips, and 2 more. And so then I skip the 2 beads, the pips, and then the 2 beads, and I go into the bottom of the last part of my pattern on the fringe, and I go up through all of them, and then through the 2 beads of the ladder stitch, which was the foundation, and I pull the thread through, and then you kind of pull the bottom and pull it again to get your thread all the way. Make sure it's kind of clear, or like how it's sitting, how you like it. Okay. So then I go back down in the second row through the 2 beads of my ladder stitch. You pull the thread all the way through. And you repeat with the next phase of your pattern. So then it's 3 of your main color, then 6, and then 5, and then 6, and then 7, remember there's your bottom part, the 2, and the pip, and the 2. And you go, remember, skip kind of that bottom part, that dangly part, and go back into the last bead of your pattern, and then go all the way up through that fringe, and sometimes once it gets longer you have to break it into 2. And remember, try not to go through your other thread, just run alongside it and through the 2 beads of your ladder stitch. And this is a long piece, and then when you come here, it's kind of make sure to get all that thread up. What do we got going on here? Oh, it's wrapped around. Sometimes it gets caught on the other beads, and now this first fringe is inside this loop, and you want to make sure that it's outside. And I went through this loop with my needle somehow, and it came clear. So yeah, just make sure that your other fringe is clear of the thread that you're pulling through the piece of fringe that you're currently working on, and that when you pull your thread through the ladder stitch to come down, that it's also clear of those other fringe pieces. So we're on the 3rd fringe, so that starts with 5. 35, and then 6, and then 7, and then 6, and then 9, and then slide all that down. You know, just take your time, move slow, don't try to go too fast. Like, sometimes your thread's going to get caught on the corners of your tray or the handle of your scissors or something. And if you move too fast, that happens more often. But just take it slow and easy. It's not a race. Just gotta move at your own pace. And just do your thing. So then you come up. All the beads and throw the 2 in the foundation. So I've got this loop here, kind of pull down, and pull up, make sure everything's sitting right. Okay. Then you come down. Now we're on the 4th fringe. There'll be 11 total. And so for the first 6, for this particular pattern, they all increase, and then the 6th fringe is the middle, and it's the longest. So then for fringes 7 through 11, it decreases back to the other side. But right now we're on fringe 4, so it's an increase, and it starts with 7 at the top. Now we do 6 here. We have 9. And 6. And these greasy yellow, they're a little hard to see on this particular shade. This is just a piece of buckskin that I have on this tray. I didn't have a second beading mat. My regular beading mat is in my workshop, but a lot of times I work at night inside, so I work at night inside instead of outside in my workshop, and this is the only time that I have to film with sound, because it's the only time that my dog is asleep, and during the day she barks too much for me to do this with sound. So I have 5 and I need 11, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, my dog is sleeping behind me. I don't know if you can hear her snoring or not, but she snores, so. Putting the end on our fringe here. She's snoring now. And then we go up through the bottom. Flinging all over the place there. So, let's see. Here's your fringe. This is the side that you're working from, and you just come down those 2 in your foundation, in your base. And while I'm working, I like to keep them all kind of organized, and it helps you keep track to make sure that you're following your pattern correctly. On a pattern that I made a couple of days ago, I messed up on one of the fringe. I missed the 6 bead stretch here where they're mixed, and so beautiful pair of earrings, and then you've got one that's 6 beads short. And so I think I'm going to sell those at a discount. A whoopsie pair. So, alright, I'm on Fringe 5. Let's focus up here. Quit rambling. There's 9. 2. 5, 6. And then 11. And 6. And 13. And 2. And the pip. So remember, for your fringe, you skip the dangly part of the bottom and come up. And make sure you get every bead. Don't skip any, or else your thread will show on the outside. So take your time. Sometimes it helps, if it's longer, to kind of sit your needle down, pull this down, hold the top with your index finger, and pull the thread with your thumb and middle finger. And kind of pinch this to keep it straight so it doesn't go wonky. See, you've got your fringe forming. So now we're on to the 6th strand of fringe, which is the middle, and so it's the longest. And for this particular pattern, you start your 6th fringe with 11 beads of your first color. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And scoot them down because, you know, you'll have a lot on this one. It's the longest one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 13 of your second color. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And 6, 5, 6. And then we're going to need more of this yellow off the Hank strand there. And so we need 15 for this 6th strand for this last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15. Screw them all down. And then it's 2, and then your drop. 2 more on the side. And work your way back up that strand of fringe. Let's see. There it was kind of in that thread, so you want to pull it back, take it easy. Make sure you don't go through the thread. Like this. Okay. Pull it. You have kind of a loop here. Pull it back. Okay. So that is thread, or fringe number 6. The middle, the longest. And now you start decreasing. And that's for this particular pattern. You could do literally any pattern, any design of fringe that you want. It could be asymmetrical, it could be totally irregular, they could all be the same. It's totally up to you and your artistic vision. There's 9. Six. And we're looking at 11 here. 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11. And 6. And then 13. Nine, 10, 11, 12, 13. And push them all the way down. Those are a different green bead from a different project. Don't want to get them mixed up. Okay. And do. Okay. Up. Make sure the other strands of fringe are clear of your thread loop here as you work it up. Okay. Let's see. It's decreasing now. You want to make sure, if you're following this pattern, that it's that like strands 5 and 7 are even, and that you're following your pattern correctly, if this is what you're doing. So and they might be a little bit off because your beads are not always exactly the same width, especially if you're using check beads, so there may be a little difference, but that's what gives it character. So if you want things to be, all of your fringe to be exactly the same length, you're better off using Japanese beads. Toho are more likely to be the same, but of course Miyuki and Delicas are more precise. So if that's what you're looking for, I would go with those. So here's 7. 6. Here we need 9, 8, 9, and 6. And here we need 11. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And 2, and a pip, 2, skip your dangly bit, and come up through the last bead in your pattern. Make sure to get every one. I don't know why I'm saying it in this voice. Come up. Then you go back down 2, foundation row. Let's see. We're on the decreasing side now. And we're on fringe number 9. That starts with 5. 1, come on, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 6. And then 9. Runaway beads. Okay. So now we just have 2 strands of fringe left to go. So strand 10 starts with 3 of your first color, and 6 of the mix, 5 of your secondary color, and 6 of the mix. And we need more yellow there. So we need 7 of the third color. 2. There's for your end. And you come up. We're almost there. We just have one more strand of fringe to do. The last one, just like the first one, starts with 1, your main color, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the mix, 3 of your secondary, and another 6. 2, 3, 4, 5. What am I doing here? See, gotta take a second. My mind started to wander. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 of the third color. Check to make sure that it looks about even. And it does. There, 2. Pull down, straighten out those loops. Okay, so at this point, you finished all of your fringe, right? Looking pretty cool. I like the color combo. Now what I do, and this is just like with the top, like you finish it off however you feel you need to do it for it to be secure. So I go up through the whole side of the top until I get to the row with 3 beads in it. Thread caught there on the side of the tray. And then I go down, up the third, and I go up all the way through the top part, that loop at the top where you're going to put your earring hook. Go down the other side. And I'm going to go up through the 3 beads of that loop again. And down. Up again, because this is the last time that I'll be running the thread through this area. So, and it's still passing through the beads comfortably. Like, you don't want to force it, because if you run your needle and thread through a bead too many times, and it gets to the point to where you're like forcing it, you can break a bead. I've done it. And then you're kind of like, I don't know if there's any way to fix that. So just go through here. And then I come down this side. And so I'm working back through the 2 bead thick ladder stitch foundation line that we just ran all of our thread through, or all of our fringes through. And so I'm just going to go up and down throughout that line to anchor this thread. Because you don't tie a knot anywhere to finish this off. Like, there's no place to knot it. It's just woven. And so you're trusting that the tension of the beadwork is going to hold it together. And your tension, you know, it's just like with knitting or crochet or anything you do, it just comes with time and practice. So make sure on the first ones you don't go through any of the beads of your fringe. And so I came down here. I'm going to go to the bottom. Gonna make that box, and then I'm going to go down through the second to last fringe. And I'm going to work it all the way down this fringe. So I come through that side. The pip is like the middle point of your dangle, and then you come back up through the other two on the other side and back up into the fringe. And you could go up and down multiple strands of fringe if you want. But I'm going to call it here. Pull out my thread zap. Pull that thread taut and zap it. And so at this point is when you would add your earring hook, but I don't have any handy right now. So that's your beaded brick stitch fringe earring. And generally when I put them on the hook, I put the side that I was working on at the back, because if you're going to see thread, it's going to be on the side that you were working. And so it always just, for me, looks a little cleaner on the reverse side from where you were working. Okay? So there you go. And I'm going to make the other one. Probably not going to talk through that one. So there you go. And these will be available in my Etsy shop on this Friday. So if you saw this and thought, boy, I don't want to go through all that work. You can always just buy a pair from the Etsy shop. It's Choctaw Clover. So it's etsy.com/shop/Choctaw Clover. I believe there's a link in somewhere in my channel description. But it's just Choctaw Clover. And you can find me on Instagram at Choctaw Clover Beadwork. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hit the thumbs up, leave a comment. If you have any questions, please leave a comment and I will answer them. And subscribe. Okay? Thank you. Bye.